Good afternoon, everybody. I'm the founder of Genesis Natural Health Clinic, and I've been in the health and wellness industry for over 15 years now. When I first started at the Wellness Center with my brother, Dr. David Homer, after that I further went on to study in Vancouver, Canada, with Prime Pacific Health Innovations and Boucher Institute in Naturopathic Medicine. And quite simply, after opening Genesis Natural Health Clinic, my mission has been to improve the health of our community through looking after their digestive systems. My journey to helping other people with their digestive systems and their lifestyle changes has begun with a need to help myself. And so 20 plus years ago, I experienced some health issues that my brother had actually pointed out to me. And my quest to become healthier led me to understanding my problems were due to digestive issues. And so changing my lifestyle, learning new types of foods, new diet, what I should eat and what I shouldn't eat, and being able to determine how to nourish and support my body as I did my detoxing. And so your digestive system is quite simply the key to your health. Everything begins and ends in the colon. And the fact that your body actually learns how to deal with these digestive issues is quite phenomenal. And every day you depend on your digestive system to keep your immune system healthy. You have 80% of your immune system resides in your gut, and that's not well known by many people. And what we want to do is we want to be able to maintain that immune system. Now, your immune system, not only does your immune system reside in your gut, but it's also the seat of where all your emotions lie. And that has come about through many studies. Actually, science has now shown that detox is more important than nutrition. And so the Greek physician, father of modern medicine, Hippocrates, actually first said in the 3rd century, all disease begins in the gut. And this has long been before civilization even had any proof or sound theory that this really existed. And we didn't even know how bacteria existed until a Dutch scientist discovered this in the 17th century. And so today he is considered the father of microbiology. And in the 19th century it was a Russian scientist who made the stunning link between human longevity and healthy balance in the body, confirming to us that death begins in the colon. The scientific research is now giving credence to the notion that 90% of all diseases can be tracked to unhealthy gut. And we can say for sure that just as disease begins in the gut, so too does health and vitality. And unfortunately, many people today carry around more bad pathogenic organisms in their body, and they're lacking in abundant and diverse microbiome within the universe that exists within our body. So there's no wonder that many of us suffer from disorders. And right now your body is colonized by a multitude of organisms from outside your cells by a factor of 10 to 1. And there are hundreds and trillions of invisible creatures and microbes that actually cover our insides and our outsides. They thrive in our nose, our ears, our mouth, our intestines, every inch of our body and skin. And scientists have discovered that 10,000 different species of microbes are contained within our DNA, and that translates to more than 8 million genes. Most of these organisms live within our digestive tract, and while they include fungi and viruses, it appears that the bacterial species that make their home inside you dominate and take center stage in supporting every conceivable aspect of your health. And as you interact with these organisms, you also take on their genetic material. And we call this our microbiome, and research is now acknowledging that the state of the microbiome is the key to human health. And so, just so you understand that, the reason that just, I think, cements the fact that we do need to detox. It's so important. Many of us walk around today with congested colons. We have one of the number one issues that tells us that we have an imbalance is when we have digestive disorders. And I think 9 out of 10 people would say that they, at some point in time, they do have digestive issues. And so what do? We mask that by going to the pharmacist, and we get some antacids or whatever to mask that, and we go along our daily lives, just keep suppressing those symptoms. But detoxing is something that needs to be done at least 3 times a year, simply because we are part of our environment. Our bodies mesh with our environment. As the environment changes seasons, so too does our body. Because we are part of our environment. And so after this time, during spring, summer, after summer, and after Christmas are actually the best times to detox. Simply because those are the times the body is regenerating itself and we go into a natural detox. So hence the reason where you may find that at those times of the year is when people will tend to have colds and flus. It's simply because the body is going into a natural detox state. And so you want to maximize on that and choose those times to detox.
What is those seasons again?
After spring, after summer.
What months would those be?
So like around this time, March, April, right after summer, August, September, and then right in January, at the beginning of the year. And so, and at the beginning of the year, we all set stage, in many Christians, set a stage where that is opening for them. They do a 21-day fast, whether it's the Daniel's diet or any type of fast that's set out by your church. And so that is the ideal time to really set a year for your detox program. You get it because it's not just physical. You want to focus on mind, body, and spirit, right? And that is your many times if we're under stress, for instance, our digestive systems know when the brain and the gut, they work together. So you have we call the gut our second brain. And so if you're under stress, you'll find that your digestive system will react to that. And the reaction of the digestive system on stress is just as bad as if you're eating good food, bad food. And so you can eat as much good food as you want. If you're under stress, your digestive system is going to suffer. So it means your food is fermenting, your gut, but your microbiome that we just talked about is out of balance. And so then so it's not, so we're not just limited to the seasons, because if you're going through a period of stress and you know your body is in out of balance, then you should look to do a detox and rebalance, get back on, detoxing then doesn't only just mean actual food, it means spiritual as well. So learning to hone in on that time where you need to quiet your mind, bring peace to your body. You need to also do that type of detoxing.
Give me different types of detoxes.
Well, there are various types of detoxes. At Genesis, we focus on the foot detoxes, which you will see later today. We also do the main detox we have is the biofeed, colonics. Colon hydrotherapy simply is one of the best ways of detoxing the body, because you're actually removing a buildup of waste in the colon. But it's not just a physical cleanse, it's also an emotional cleanse, simply because the seat of all your emotions is in your gut. And so many times when we do a colonic, it's not just the actual waste that the person releases, but they actually release a lot of emotions as well. And so many times you tend to talk them through it, get them to do deep breathing. Some people cry, some people laugh, You know, the people have all various type of reactions, and many times they don't realize why they're doing it, but it's because the body is giving them, the body is actually releasing those pent-up emotions. And so we tend to encourage people to just give their body permission to release. And you know, whether it's forgiveness, you know, say a forgiveness prayer as you're doing it, you know, whether it's whatever it is, whatever your negative emotions are, we ask them to release it, to give their bodies permission to release.
For women in Barbados, will you find in relation to colon hydrotherapy, will you find is one of the major issues?
Well, many times because the colon could become so congested, especially women, as women get older, their hormones change. You find their middles begin to change shape, and many of them develop what we call a bay window belly. So the right around your rib cage becomes puffy and stuff. Many times it's a buildup of waste in the transverse colon. That's just where the transverse colon is. And your transverse colon, it dips naturally because of gravity. But many times it's sitting right on top of your uterus, right? And the waste from the colon literally seeps into the uterus. And because we are so fearfully and wonderfully made, our bodies know how to encapsulate that toxicity so that it doesn't go in an effort to preserve our organs. And so what happens is that you get things like ovarian cysts, you get fibroids, right? All these things start to develop in the uterus, but it's an indication that there's an overtoxicity in the colon. And similarly, many of us, our diets are full of wheat and gluten. Not only does it disrupt our female hormones, but it creates a situation of leaky gut where a lot of the toxicity from the colon is seeping into your bloodstreams and reaping havoc on your body. And so many times we have different detox treatments that we use. One of them is to help with removing ovarian cysts and fibroids through the detox, the colonics. So that is a very major part. As I said, women going towards menopausal years, sometimes they experience vaginal dryness and that those type of things. Many times it's because of the imbalance of the hormones, brought on by that imbalance in your diet and so on. And so we use the foot detox is great for relieving vaginal dryness. Doing a complete treatment on those can actually restore that for you, along with supplementation and diet. And supplementation, many people think, well, you don't need to supplement. I eat enough. I eat well. But many times, today we know that our diets are full of pesticides. I think the farmers in Barbados love Roundup. And so our vegetables and stuff, you need to, you know, get in the habit of visiting our farmers markets where you're getting more organic foods. I mean, there's no organic association of farmers in Barbados. So they're becoming more cognizant of the use of chemicals. And so that alone is a big irritant to our system, our bodies. And so using your foods, more nutrient-dense foods, creating a more stable environment in your home, not only in your home, but in life in general. We need to be able to relax. We need to be able to spend time, and many of us don't spend enough time in prayer and meditation. And that sets the stage for calming your entire body, whether it's through our hormones or foods. And there again, even with our foods, sitting and spending family time around the table at dinner is so important, because you know, you get to pray together, you get to bond with each other, and you'll be surprised what a different effect that makes on your digestive system when you can have that type of quiet peace and quiet
connection. Okay, there was something that you said that was quite interesting was the connection between your particular perspective on colon cleanse and fibroids. I know you touched a little bit on it, but you explore that a little bit.
Right. The many times, like I said, because the uterus, the transverse colon sits right on top of the uterus, right? It tends to create that, the toxicity tends to build up in the uterus, and then it forms those fibroids, right? And so many times fibroids is as a result of the toxicity in the colon, but as well, it's also brought on by the types of foods we eat. So many grains, for instance, can adversely affect our bodies. So there are foods that many foods are high in lectins, like tomatoes, beans, and corn especially. Corn is a very highly genetically modified product, and it throws our hormone systems out of balance. And so those things help to feed the fibroids once they start to grow. And those, most of the fibroids, the ovarian cysts, a lot of them love sugar. And so including a lot of sugar, the whites, the white rice, white potato, white pasta into our diets, as well as sugar. Many people don't drink water, they drink, it's always a juice that has enormous amounts of sugar in it. And so these things become living organisms. They love sugar, and these foods produce excess sugar, and it continues to feed things like the fibroids and cysts and cancer cells. And so it's important to make sure that when you detox, it's not just a cleanse, but that you're changing your diet to a more nutrient-dense diet.
Explain the process for the colon hydrotherapy.
The colon hydrotherapy simply, of course, this is the colonic room that we're in. So you come in, you lie on the bed, we do a massage, relax the colon, and we take you through some deep breathing. You're attached then by some tubes to our machine here. And so this is the colonic machine, and you're attached to the machine through the tubes. One tube takes water in, the other tube brings water and waste through this viewing machine. So I'm able to see and be able to analyze the waste that's leaving the body. So many times we see undigested food, which gives me an indication that your enzymes are low, you're not digesting your foods properly, or that you're eating too fast to begin with.
Yeah.
So
that could affect your.
Yeah, that because if you're eating too fast, sometimes, as well as the fact that you're not eating properly combined foods, so then your stomach is not releasing the enzymes that it should to digest your food, and so sometimes you end up seeing undigested food here, which is not a good thing, because that food then starts to ferment in your gut and create an environment where you have more bad bacteria than you have good.
Okay.
So then we can see that coming through here, any mucus, yeast, parasites, we can see them through the viewing tube.
Yeah, parasites?
Yeah.
How big is parasites you find in Barbados?
Usually they're very small ones. More yeast, we see a lot of candida issues in Barbados. I have had one or two people who were missionaries in Haiti, and when they knew they had parasites, and when we did it, well, the parasite was just as long as the viewing tube there.
Okay.
But in Barbados, most of what I see is a lot of candida.
Okay.
Yeah. So everything passes through the tube, and it goes straight into the sewer from there, so everything remains contained. There's no smell or anything. The water coming out of the machine goes through 2 levels of filtration, a UV sterilizer and ionizer, before it actually leaves the machine. So the water is quite clean. We also do, halfway through the treatment, we do implant, which is usually from an outside mixture, and this is usually chlorophyll and trace minerals. Chlorophyll is very healing to the colon. It helps to deodorize the colon, it cleans all the plaque from the walls. and it helps to, it's very healing for the colon. And so it's important to give it that nutrition, simply because our colon to actually regenerate itself every 4 to 7 days. And so I don't know if you can see the chart on the wall here, but we actually have some x-rays of actual colons, and those x-rays to show you how a degenerative colon can look, what it can look like. But a healthy colon is the one next to it, and that's so after a series of colonics, your colon can actually go from looking like this to looking like that.
Oh, so the large one is the correct one?
Yes.
But the other one's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to thank you, Elisa, so much.
You are welcome.
So once again,
It's my pleasure.